Go to Google and type Rathod's IAS. Then you can see our website, Rathod's IAS Academy. There you have to click on login or register in the blue color. So if you have not registered yet, you have to click on do not have account and fill the details. So once you have login, click on the courses. There you can see course list. And in this course list, you can see wide range of courses. Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 13th June 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see first topic. So first topic, it is about women's right or at risk in Afghanistan. So why we need to talk about women's right? So yes, there is one question I want to pose to you, that whether we need to ensure proper rights to women. Yes, of course, because women, they also comes under part of our society. Yes, women also have their rights. And especially in this present 21st century, we are mainly talking about equality. We are talking about equal representation of women and men in the workforce. And we are talking about mainly to come down with this patriarchal society. And we are focusing on women empowerment. So we are talking about all these things like equality, right to equality, equal representation of men and women in workforce. We are talking about mainly how this patriarchal society, which is mainly affecting the women, and we are talking about women empowerment. So here we need to protect women's rights. Okay. So here this article is important from GS paper to the society point of view, and here especially we are talking about women's rights in Afghanistan. So it is also important from our international relations. So this article is very important, and now let us try to see this topic. So this topic, which is mainly focusing on women's rights. Okay, women's rights in Afghanistan. So to understand what happened to these women's rights, we need to go back to Taliban period. So whenever Taliban, they came into power for the first time. Okay, so now we are seeing this Taliban 2.0. So earlier also there was Taliban who ruled this Afghanistan. At that time also there is discrimination of the rights of women. And the same thing that we are seeing in this Taliban 2.0 era as well. So this is the thing which mainly said by author. So now let us try to see how discrimination of women's rights are happening in this Afghanistan. So this topic will be very important, especially from women empowerment point of view. And even whenever you are writing essay regarding women empowerment, you can also quote how discrimination of women's rights are happening in this Afghanistan. So if you see context here, so context mainly says that in a very rare interview broadcast by CNN. So in this interview on May 17th, 2022, Afghanistan's interior minister, and he also the head of Haqqani network, and he promised a very good news that soon return of girls to secondary schools. Actually here the shutdown of schools, especially the girls who are going to the secondary schools, had been shut down in the March, since March this year. And now this announcement, which mainly said that it is a very great news that here return of girls to secondary schools, that is going to be happened. So here in number of TV channels there is some debate which is mainly going on regarding gains made by international community in Afghanistan in last 20 years. As you all know, US, which mainly left, okay, US withdrawn its troops from Afghanistan recently, right? So here number of times we can see what international communities they achieved, okay, they achieved in this Afghanistan in last 2 decades. And it was unmistakable that opportunities for girls and women in education, employment had expanded vastly. So if you see data in 2019, especially when we are focusing on women participation in this Afghanistan labor force, it was around 22% in 2019. And if you see women participation in the labor force in 2009, it was just 15%. And we can say yes, there is increasing of women participation in Afghanistan labor force as per the data of 2019. And if you see in different provinces of this Afghanistan also, here women they play an important roles, especially in government, even in parliament, media, health, in education sector, and even in civil societies. There was active participation of women. And women they mainly carved out some space for themselves in this patriarchal structures and systems. So especially we can see in this Afghanistan, patriarchal society is there, and there is discrimination of women's rights, and there is no proper empowerment of women, and women they need to wear burqa. Okay, so here in this patriarchal structures and societies also, women they are mainly coming forward to work and to participate in this labor force. But unfortunately, here Afghanistan came into power. Okay, Afghanistan came into the hands of these Taliban once again, and now we are seeing Taliban 2.0 rule in Afghanistan. And what happened because of this? There is discrimination of women's rights or mainly seen in Afghanistan now. So though there are various interventions by international community on women's issues, they didn't transform the structures in Afghanistan, and they sometimes we can see only few women they used to come outside. Okay, so in parliament of Afghanistan and in provincial councils of Kandahar, Nangarhar and Badakhshan, Herat, Balkh and other, young women they took grave risk in political participation mobilization. So even though international communities they mainly focused on women empowerment and women they come into politics, so in many provincial councils, especially in this Kandahar, in Herat and other regions, so young women they took grave risk in political participation. There is no proper political participation of women in these areas. And today if you see the voices of women after this Taliban came into power, so the voices of the women they are lost completely. And if you see the report of ILO, International Labour Organization, which came up with a report in January 2022, and this report which mainly found that Afghanistan women employment levels which mainly estimated 16% in the third quarter of 2021, and earlier it was like 22%, right, and now it decreased to 16%. And by mid of 2022, women's employment which mean expected to be 21% lower than before this Taliban's taken over. Okay, so before this Taliban took control over this Afghanistan, there was like 21 to 22%. But now in this mid 2022, after once Taliban they took over the control of this Afghanistan, so here female participation in this labor force had been drastically decreased to 16%, and this condition which is mainly continuing till now in this Afghanistan. And if you're talking about the participation of this Afghanistan women representatives in intra-Afghan dialogue in Doha, so what happened? That mainly raised some international community expectations that insurgents they had reformed, and we are going to expect that women's role in Afghanistan society and government. So actually in this intra-Afghan dialogue which held in Doha, so there were some few Afghanistan women they participated. So because of this, that led to rise of expectations that here role of women in the Afghanistan society and the government would going to increase, but it is not the true. So there is speculation that Taliban are in the process of finalizing dress code in schools for girls, not only for girls, even for the boys. And Haqqani they did refer that requirement that education should be based on Afghan culture. So whatever the education they are going to promote now, whenever they are allowing this girls to again have this secondary education, so this education that will be based on Afghanistan culture and Islamic rules and principles. So this is a thing which mainly stated by this Haqqani. And next one is, he also referred that more broadly to issues of women wearing hijab. So what is this hijab? So this hijab controversy that is also seen in India, especially in Karnataka. So whenever women, okay, who mainly belonging to this Muslim community or Islamic Okay, so they will be wearing this head scarf that is called as hijab. So those people who wear this hijab, they were mainly banned for entering of schools in Karnataka, and this is also highly seen in news. And even Supreme Court recently gave judgment regarding this hijab and importance of hijab. So I hope you might have recalled something regarding what Supreme Court said about this hijab. Okay, so let me know what Supreme Court said about this hijab in this comment box. So we discussed about this topic number of times in our Hindu analysis, and I hope the students who are following our analysis, they are also focusing on revision. Revision, it is a key for success. Without revision, you can forget everything. So you have to revise it periodically. And if you're talking about what will be a regressive mindset, okay, what is a regressive mindset? So since capture of power in Kabul by these Talibans, so Talibans made a severe contradictory moves, especially regarding issues of return of women into public life. So I saw and I recall some incidents and some images that appeared in the newspaper, like they closed some beauty parlors as well. Okay, and they said that women should be wear dress that should be completely from top to bottom. So initially here this Taliban, they referred to the prevalence of chaos and as well as insecurities and asked women to stay indoors, and they said that initially, so women, they should not come outside the doors, that is outdoors, they should have to stay indoors itself. And the Taliban's acting prime minister now, that is Mullah Muhammad Hassan Akhund, he mainly claimed that women would be allowed to continue working under Sharia law. So now here recently Prime Minister of this Taliban, acting Prime Minister of this Taliban, he said that yes, women will be allowed to work, okay, allowed to work, and that work will be under Sharia law, and especially they can work in the roles where they cannot be performed by men. So it is also one more condition. And on May 7th, Taliban's chief, he mainly issued a decree, and that decree making all covering burqa mandatory for women. So here Taliban's chief said that yes, women, they need to wear this burqa, and this burqa, it is mandatory for women. Okay, and here this announcement that girls, they are going to have their secondary education, it is a very important move that we can say. So in this way here, author mainly says that it is clear that Taliban 2.0, it is no way different from this Taliban. They ruled Afghanistan between 1996 to 2001. So what will be the impact of discrimination of women's rights? So here we can see there will be the great impact, okay, because the rights of women in the workforce, that mainly leads to decreasing of their contribution in our economy. So whenever women, they are going and they are working, means they will be getting some amount of salary, and they will be going for demanding for goods and services in the market, and that will leads to improving of economy. And because of this COVID-19, almost all economies in the world, they had been affected, right? So in this context here, every country, they are focusing on how to improve their economy. So in this condition, women participation in this workforce is very, very important. And next one is, in addition to the loss of rights, many households, they mainly run by women, could be staring at the bleak future. So if you're talking about data which is given by this World Bank in 2019, it mainly said that there are about 36% of teachers in the country, they were women, and it is the highest number since last 20 years. But what happened because of the shutdown of schools, so these teacher ratio which had been decreased a lot. So if you're talking about female educators, they have been forced out of work by this Taliban ban on education for girls in March 2022. And by the end of this 2021, fewer than 100 Kabul's 700 female journalists, they were still working. So it is according to the data by this Reporters Without Borders data. And next one is the international community, therefore. So what is the need? What is the way forward here? So you can conclude your answer like this. Yes, the international community, they need to make a concerned and even coordinated attempt, and we need to focus on protecting the rights of Afghan women and girls, and finally we need to ensure Afghanistan's de facto rules, and we need to make these Talibans, they are accountable for their actions. Okay, so this is about this topic in detail. And now let us try to see next topic. It is a data point. Here you can see about Environment Performance Index 2022. So recently here Environment Performance Index which mainly released, and here it mainly ranks 180 countries. So India rank is 180 by 180. So we are the worst performer when we are comparing with even our nearby countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan. So if you see this image, it is mainly talking about what are the indicators. Okay, so now let us try to see this topic. Actually this topic, it is very important from your environment and ecology point of view, and you can expect compulsory 100%. I will give you assurance that. So there will be one question regarding this Environment Performance Index in your coming mains 2022. So please be prepared with this topic. So now let us try to see this infographic which mainly talking about Environment Performance Index 2022. So Afghanistan got rank of 81, Sri Lanka 132, China 160, Nepal 162, Pakistan 176, Bangladesh 177, and at last rank here is mainly got by India, that is 180 out of 180. So if you are talking about some key indicators and how India it is performing in biodiversity, India it is having like 179 rank, and in protected areas 177, and species protection index 175, air quality 179. Here we can talk about Delhi and as well as some metro cities. And next one is climate policy 165, and ecosystem vitality 178, greenhouse gas emission 171, biodiversity habitat index 170, PM 2.5 is 174, and waste management 151. These are some important key indicators of this Environment Performance Index. Now let us go on to and move on to some basic facts regarding this Environment Performance Index. So actually this index which mainly recently released, okay, it is mainly like an international ranking system which released this Environment Performance Index. So this Environment Performance Index which mainly measures two important things: environment health and even sustainability. It mainly talks about sustainability and even environment health of countries. So actually this EPI, Environment Performance Index, it is a biennial index. That means it will be released once in every 2 years. So once in every 2 years we will be getting this Environment Performance Index. Actually this index which mainly started in year 2002. And one more important question that you have to know is, which is the organization which made releasing this Environment Performance Index? That is World Economic Forum, along with the collaboration of this Yale University and even Columbia University. Okay, so World Economic Forum along with Yale and this Columbia University which mainly releases this Environment Performance Index. So we are talking about what is the framework that mainly used. So in this 2020-22, okay, so EPI which mainly focused on 40 performance indicators that mainly come under 11 categories. So if you see this image, you can see there are 11 categories here. First one is biodiversity and habitat, ecosystem services, fisheries, acid rain, agriculture, water resources, air quality, sanitation, drinking water, here heavy metals, waste management, climate change. So these are mainly talking about these 11 categories. And the important 3 categories which are mainly includes environmental health, ecosystem vitality and climate change. Here you can see 3 important things: climate change which mainly contributes about 38%, ecosystem vitality 42%, and environmental health 20%. Okay, so there are 11 categories and 3 important key areas, and there are 40 indicators. So these indicators which mainly provides a gauge at national scale of how close countries are establishing environmental policy targets. So it is mainly focusing on environmental policy targets. And this Environment Performance Index which mainly transforms raw environmental data into indicators, and they will be giving ranking based on 0 to 100 scales. Okay. So if you are talking about key highlights of this report, so which is the country topped? So top country here is Denmark. So Denmark topped this 2022 ranking. Okay, and it is having good performance in the different indicators, and it is mainly focusing on promoting of clean energy future and even sustainable agriculture as well. And if you see next one is UK and Finland, they occupied second and third. Okay, both earning high scores in this greenhouse gas emissions in the recent years. Okay, and here US, which mainly places 20th out of 22 healthy democracies. And next one is here India's score here is just 18.9. Okay, 18.9. India's rank is 180th rank after Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Myanmar, etc. India has a very low score on the rule of law, control of corruption, government effectiveness according to this Environment Performance Index. And if you see in 2020, the last ratings or the last index, India rank is 168th, but now we had 180 rank. So this is also very important. And if you're talking about what is the significance of this Environment Performance Index, so this mainly helpful for decision making, and we are going to recognize where there are some loopholes, we are not doing good, and based on that we can go for planning of decisions. And analysis of this Environment Performance Index data demonstrate financial resources, good governance, human development, and regulator quality matter. So in these areas we are mainly focusing and highlighting these connections here. EPI, Environment Performance Index, which mainly helps to promote sustainable development in support of a more environmentally secure and equitable future. So this is about in detail, and I want to make a small note on, so what is the India's response? India is not accepting this rank. Okay, India is not accepting this rank. So because of this, I think 2 days ago we discussed one article regarding India rejects this environment performance index. And next topic, it is regarding OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation. So this organization of this Islamic cooperation is in news. And recently in this 2022 prelims, there was one question regarding this Turkish organization. So which are the members? So because of this, you need to know some facts regarding this Organization of Islamic Cooperation. So it is seen highly in news because of 2 BJP leaders who mainly made some controversial statements regarding Prophet Muhammad and Islam. So this article is important from your international relations, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2. And now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So you have to know what are the important dimensions. Dimensions here is you have to know why this OIC is in news, and you have to know when this OIC was established. You have to know what are the objectives of this OIC and even members of this OIC, and what are the functions and what are the mandates of this OIC. So this is a very important topic which mainly comes from your static syllabus of your international relations. So in international relations, if you have gone through the syllabus, there is one topic like international organizations. So under that international organizations, so this OIC also, it is one of the important body that you can study. So if we are talking about this OIC, okay, OIC, that is Organization of Islamic Cooperation. So here this was established in 1969. In 1969, this Organization of Islamic Cooperation, it was established, and this mainly established in this 1969 summit, which mainly held in Rabat, Morocco. It mainly established in this 1969 summit, which mainly held in Rabat, Morocco. And this OIC, which mainly focused to establish solidarity among the member states, and they are mainly focusing on integrity of any member states under occupation, and want to protect and even defend and combat defamation of Islam, and they want to prevent a growing dissension in Muslim societies, and they are mainly focusing to work and to ensure that member states, they take united stance in this international stages. So this is about work of this OIC. So this Indian association with this 57 nation grouping has not been easy. So even though country has good relation with UAE and as well as Saudi Arabia, so we didn't have any membership in this OIC. So this is one important thing. So here this OIC, it is a 57 nation grouping. India, it is not a part of this OIC. So this is again one more important fact. So we are talking about what are the objectives of this OIC. So first one here is to safeguard and to protect interest of Muslims. So we are mainly focusing on interest of Muslims and as well as Islams, and we are mainly focusing on spirit of international peace and harmony among the various people of the world. So if we're talking about members, there are about 57 members, and these members, all of them are Islamic countries or Muslim majority countries. Okay, so they mainly contains Islamic countries, or we can say like Muslim majority countries. And Central Asian Republic, Russia, Thailand, Bosnia and Herzegovina, so they are like observer states in this OIC. So if we are talking about India and OIC, so as you all know, India, we have unity in diversity. We have different religious people, they are living together in India. So especially if you are talking about Muslim community, so India has world's second largest Muslim community. And here even India, because of this population of Muslims in the country, so India which mainly invited for the founding conference of this OIC at this Rathod in 1969, but India was humiliatingly rejected. So it mainly rejected this option of entering or to get the membership of this OIC. And in 2006 India turned the economic corner and improved ties with this US, Saudi Arabia, and also invited Delhi to join as an observer state. But at that time also India didn't have the status of even observer state. And if you're talking about OIC, it is mainly controlled by Saudi Arabia, but Pakistan is the only Islamic country with nuclear weapons. It had a large say since its inception. So out of these 57 countries here, Pakistan, it is the only Islamic country which is mainly containing this nuclear weapon. So this is one important premise fact you have to know. And if you are talking about changing terms of this OIC, so after building close ties with the powerful members, for example, India had good relation with the UAE and India has good relation with the Saudi Arabia. So India, which is mainly having some confidence of riding over any settlement or any statement of this group. So India, which had consistently underlined that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. Okay, so whenever here India, which is mainly becoming the part of this OIC, means what happened? Actually, this OIC do not have local standing on this issue of Jammu and Kashmir. So India don't want to join this group. In 2019, India made its maiden appearance of this OIC foreign ministers meeting as well. Okay, so this is about this topic. And if you're talking about what is the significance of this OIC for India, so here OIC is growing economic and as well as energy interdependence with the India has become an important in the recent times. In the recent times, what happened? There is increasing of India's economic and as well as energy dependency. Okay, and here we can get our oil from this OIC countries. And next one is individually India has good relations with almost all member nations as well. So we have good ties with the Saudi and as well as UAE. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is about FATF grey list of Pakistan. Already we discussed this topic number of times, and now once again we are going to discuss this topic. So if you see the context, it mainly says that we are going to have this plenary session. So plenary session of this FATF we are going to have. So because of this is in news. And this article is important from your international relations, which mainly comes in a GS paper too. So here you need to know some facts regarding Pakistan's grey list, why it is in grey list, and you have to know different lists like grey list and as well as black list of FATF, and you need to know some basic facts regarding this FATF, when it is formed, whether it is intergovernment organization or an NGO. So you have to know all these dimensions regarding this topic. And now let us try to see context. If you see context, it mainly says that now we are going to have this plenary session of this FATF, that is Financial Action Task Force, that is going to be held between June 14th to June 17th. And Pakistan, which is mainly going to get its name removed from this FATF grey list. So because of this, here this article is in news. And if you're talking about details, it mainly says that in last plenary action in March, here the FATF had retained Pakistan's listing, asking it to expeditiously agree okay, address the remaining deficiencies in this financial system. So actually in the last plenary session, at that time only we discussed that yes, might be here Pakistan will be removed from this grey list, but at that time they continued to keep this Pakistan in the grey list. Okay, so now there are some assumptions that this FATF will going to remove this Pakistan from this grey list. So last plenary meeting which mainly held in March, here FATF which mainly retained this Pakistan's listing, especially in this grey list itself. So here if we are talking about FATF, it is international watchdog for financial crimes, and they are mainly focusing on two important things: money laundering and as well as terror financing. Actually this FATF which was established in this G7 summit of 1989 in Paris, and it mainly focused to address the loopholes in the global financial system. After this, member countries, they raised concerns about growing money laundering activities. And in the aftermath of this 9/11 terror attacks on this US, here FATF also added this terror financing as one of the important and main focus area of this FATF. And actually they came up with including of restricting of funds of with the funds which are mainly given for the purchasing of weapons and even for the purchasing of weapons of mass destruction. And this FATF which mainly contains currently 39 members. There are about 39 members are present in this FATF, and the decision making body of this FATF, it is known as plenary. So we are going to have this plenary meeting from this June 14th till June 17th. Actually these plenary meetings, they will be attended by 206 countries of global network, and actually even World Bank and even United Nations and regional development banks, they are going to attend this plenary meetings, and these plenary sessions will be held at least 3 times a year. That means at least, for example, 4 months of time gap will be present. Okay, 4 months or like 5 to 6 months of gap, that we can see at least 3 times of meet that should be held by this FATF. And if you are talking about why this Pakistan which is present in the grey list, so if you think and if you have a basic knowledge regarding what is happening in this Pakistan, why there is a war between India and Pakistan, then you can easily understand that yes, we can see terrorism which is mainly seen in this Pakistan, and in this Pakistan also we can see the state sponsored terrorism. And if you are talking about types of terrorism, we will be having 6 types of terrorism. So one form of terrorism here is state sponsored terrorism. So we can see there is a state sponsored terrorism in this Pakistan. So because of this, we need to focus on even terror financing investigations and prosecution against the senior leaders and commanders of this United Nations designated terrorist group as well. Okay, so and even there are number of terrorist groups that are mainly they had base in this Pakistan. For example, LET, okay, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and there are number of terrorist groups which are mainly present, and this Pakistan which also have some relation with this Taliban and even Haqqani group as well. So Pakistan has found itself in the grey list since 2008, and in year 2009 it was removed from this grey list, and again here this Pakistan which mainly placed in this grey list from 2018 onwards. Okay, so now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding type 1 diabetes mellitus. So what is this diabetes? So diabetes is a condition, we can say there is increased blood glucose level which is mainly increased in this condition of this diabetes. So in this diabetes we will be having different types of diabetes. For example, type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and as well as gestational diabetes mellitus. So we are mainly talking about this type 1 diabetes mellitus. So in this type 1 diabetes mellitus, there is inadequate amount of insulin which mainly produced in our pancreas. So in pancreas we have alpha cells and we have beta cells. So these alpha cells and beta cells, they are mainly responsible for secreting of insulin and as well as glucagon. So what is this insulin will convert? Insulin will convert excess of glucose. Glucose will be converted into glucagon, and here we have another thing like glucagon. So glucagon will be converting this glycogen into reverse glucose. So here you need to know concept called as glucose, glycogen. Okay, you have to remember what is this glucose and glycogen. So in this pancreas, it is a leaf-like structure, and it mainly having alpha cells and beta cells. These alpha cells and beta cells, they are responsible for producing of two hormones. First one is insulin and next one is glucagon. So what is the function of insulin? Insulin will be converting excess amount of glucose into glycogen. It is a storage form of our glucose. Whenever you are doing fasting, so you will be not feeling like losing of energy even if you are not taking anything, because your glycogen will be converted into glucose. There the action of glucagon is seen. Okay, so what happened in this type 1 diabetes mellitus? There is less amount of this insulin will be decreased. So whenever there is less amount of insulin or no insulin which is released means, so this glucose level which will be seen highly in blood, so this glucose level which is not converted into this glycogen. So this increased blood sugar level or increasing of this glucose level in the blood is called as this diabetes mellitus. We have three types: diabetes mellitus 1, type 1, type 2 and gestational diabetes mellitus. So this article which is mainly talking about type 1 diabetes mellitus. So here recently ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, which mainly came up with new advisory regarding this diabetes mellitus patients. Okay, it is mainly talking about what are the do's and what are the don'ts they need to do, okay, regarding the safety journey. So if you are talking about some details, so India has highest number of incident and prevalent case of this type 1 diabetes mellitus. Okay, and in the world, here the percentage estimates from this International Diabetes Federation and Council, which mainly says that here children, adolescents and adults, they are mainly having with this type 1 diabetes mellitus, and this is a chronic condition, so in which pancreas produce little or no insulin at all. So here you need to know about what are the signs and symptoms of this diabetes mellitus. You have to remember three important things: polyphasia, polydipsia, polyuria. Polyphagia, polydipsia and polyuria. So polyphagia means they will be feeling more hunger. They will be taking meals, okay, at a very short intervals of time. Next one is polydipsia. They will be becoming very thirsty. And next one is polyuria, means there is a frequent urination. So these are the three important signs and symptoms of this diabetes mellitus. Okay, and even we can see other signs and symptoms like fatigue. They will be feeling very nervous, and blurred vision as well. So here this ICMR guideline document, which mainly says about what is the support that need to be given for this type 1 diabetes mellitus patients whenever they are mainly going outside, that is for travel. So council which mainly suggested that the patient should inform their physician in advance, preferably 4 to 6 weeks before this planned travel, so that they can go for changing of their medicine, blood testing materials, etc. And they are also advised to mainly use some comfortable shoes, socks to avoid straining of the feet during the travel. So if you see this infographic, you can see diabetes type 1 mellitus and as well as type 2 mellitus. So what are the differences? So in this type 1 we can see there is no longer production of this insulin, but in type 2 yes, there is a production of insulin, but we can see resistance of cells to utilize this insulin. That is a condition is called as insulin resistance, which is mainly seen in this diabetes type 2 mellitus. And next one is age, usually developed during childhood and even adolescence and adult age. And this type 2 diabetes mellitus, which is mainly seen commonly over 45 years of age. And here type 1 diabetes mellitus, there is a risk factor, that is family. In your family, if your father, mother or grandfather, grandmother, you are having this, means there is a high chance of getting this diabetes type 1 mellitus. And here if you see in this type 2 diabetes mellitus, because of lack of physical activity, because of overweight, because of sedentary lifestyle and high blood pressure, and even sometimes family history, that leads to this type 2 diabetes mellitus. And if you see symptoms, bedwetting and blurry vision, frequent urination, increased appetite, thirst and mood changes, irritability, tiredness, weakness, they can be seen. And the same way, same signs symptoms will be seen in this type 2 diabetes mellitus as well. And if you say prevention, there is no known prevention for this type 1. And in this type 2, yes, we can go for changing of our lifestyle. And next one is for the treatment we can use insulin injections, especially in this type 1 diabetes mellitus. And in this type 2 diabetes mellitus, healthy living, possible insulin support. Okay, so we need to go for healthy lifestyle and even some insulin support as well. And next topic, it is regarding modern times watches keep an eye on workers. So this article which is very useful regarding Safai Karmacharis. So these Safai Karmacharis means we need to talk about manual scavenging. Yes, still in India, so there is a progress in science and technology. We are using robots in the hospitals, we are using robots in hotels for serving everything, but we are not using these robots for this scavenging. That means the removing of some dead materials, or for the cleaning of latrines and drainage. We are using still men. So still this manual scavenging is prevalent, and because of this manual scavenging, there are a number of people, they are losing their life, right? So here recently we came up with this National Commission on the Safai Karmacharis. You have to know about this. So this is your homework to refer about this NCSK, that is National Commission on the Safai Karmacharis. And this article says that yes, these Safai Karmacharis, they need to use this GPS watch, such that will be helpful for tracking of their presence or absence, and even work they are doing. Okay, but because of using of this GPS watch, some people, they are saying that it is like a violation of their privacy. As you all know, privacy is a fundamental right which mainly comes under Article 21. So this is the thing which mainly said by in the famous case Puttaswamy case. Okay. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So tied not only to their hands but also to their daily wages. So based on that attendance only, they are going to get their daily wages. So this GPS enabled watches have kept Safai Karmacharis, that is sanitation workers in Chandigarh, under constant anxiety. So constant anxiety here. So if you see details, it mainly says that there are no regulations or no laws, they are to be formalized to check misuse of such monitoring devices. So many legal experts, they mainly feel that this constant and dehumanizing surveillance must be stopped immediately. Okay, so we need to go for stopping of this GPS based surveillance immediately. So the corporation introduced this watches to glean attendance of these workers and check the misuse of this manual attendance system. Okay, so this is about this article, and here you can see some images. So these are the people who are mainly protesting against this GPS watches. So here in this image you can see this so and so worker who is mainly wearing this GPS watch. So this is a GPS watch. And there is one interesting article, that is abnormal dinosaurs egg found in India. So actually you know that these dinosaurs, they had been extincted. Okay, extinct in India. So we do not see dinosaurs now. Actually these are the very big creatures which are mainly seen on the surface of the earth. So actually what happened, because of some attacks or because of some changes, that led to the extinction of this dinosaurs. So we are very lucky now, we do not have any dinosaurs now. So here this article says that these dinosaurs which are mainly present, which are mainly belongs to these reptiles. But whatever the egg which is mainly found, that is fossilized egg which is found in India. So this is having like egg in egg. Okay, that means it is having a egg which is mainly enclosed in an egg. So this type of this egg in egg which is mainly seen in birds, not in reptiles. So because of this fossilized egg which mainly shows that egg in egg, so now we can link, or we can have a new link of reptile and as well as avian evolution. So we can see there is some link between these reptiles and as well as birds. So this article is important from your GS paper 3 under science and technology, and especially if you are from your science anthropology background. So in anthropology we will be studying about fossils. There also you can add this article as a case study. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that a team of researchers from University of Delhi has discovered a unique set of fossilized dinosaurs eggs. Okay, so a team of researchers, they found that they had a unique set of this fossilized dinosaur egg, with one egg which is nesting within other. That means we can say egg in egg. So here the detail says that, so while eggs within eggs, it is a very rare phenomena. So they are so far known to occur only in birds. So only in birds we can see this phenomena of egg within egg, okay, but this phenomena we never had known in the reptiles. So this discovery which mainly brings that there is a new connection between these reptiles and as well as avians, that is birds. So here the recent findings which mainly published in this journal Scientific Reports, and it mainly talks about eggs in eggs phenomena. It is mainly seen in this titanosaurid dinosaurs, okay, titanosaurid dinosaurs, and eggs found at this bug in Madhya Pradesh, okay, that district. And the dinosaurs of this sauropod family were among the largest land animals, and they had ever lived and widespread millions of years ago. And the territory is now in India, and the fossils of these animals, they have been found in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and even Meghalaya. So even in this Gujarat region, Madhya Pradesh region, and even in this Meghalaya region, we found some fossils of these animals, and eggs which mainly have the two continuous circular eggshell layers. Okay, so because of this we can see there is some link might be there between these reptiles and this avian evolution. So now let us try to see yesterday's questions. So first question is regarding chairman of UPSC. So president can remove the chairman of any other member of UPSC from the office for certain particular reasons without even referring the matter to Supreme Court for an inquiry. So which are those reasons? So first one is insolvency, second one is infirmity of mind and body, and next one is if any member of chairperson during his tenure engages with any paid employment outside the duties or office. Next one is behavior. Yes, insolvency, infirmity of mind and body, and if there is any member or chairperson, they are mainly having a paid employment, means yes, they can go for directly removal. But in the case of misbehavior at president, he need to refer the matter to Supreme Court. Okay, so you can eliminate this fourth, and the correct option is 1, 2 and 3. And next question is, considering the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, which among the following are not elected directly. So first one is members of panchayat at intermediate level, chairman of panchayat village level, chairperson of panchayat at the district level. So chairperson at panchayat village level and district level, they were elected indirectly. Who are not elected, that is the members of panchayat in intermediate level. So 2, 1 only is the correct answer. And today's questions are, the first one is regarding constitutional bodies, second one is regarding again 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. So please try to read the statements and give me the correct options for these two questions in the comment box. So don't forget about this. So apart from this, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. We came up with this mains answer writing practice of this June batch, and this is very useful. Actually, here from today onwards, this course it is going to be started. So for the enrollment, you can enroll till this week of June. Okay, till 20th June you can go for enrollment, and this course is very useful, and the details of this course is given in the description box in the form of PDF. So you can download the PDF and you can go to how this course which is mainly goes on. So here we provide a daily one question. On Sunday we have essay or case study, and we will be giving you weekly analysis, a weekly target, and there will be evaluation of your answer. And apart from that, we will be also giving you model answer for that so and so question or essay or case study. So in this way, this course it is absolutely beneficial. So please try to join this course. And if you have any queries, you can call me on this number 8074 765513, and this is also WhatsApp number. You can also text me on this number if you have any queries. Okay, apart from this mains answer writing practice, we also came up with the foundational course for this UPSC, CSC 2023 and 2024. So this course is very useful, and we are providing more than 600 hours of video classes. Okay, so in this way here you can build your concepts strong, and it is very important to build your current affairs based on that. And the foundational course cost is just 60,000 rupees and with a validity of 2 years. So this is one important opportunity, and please don't take a choice of this opportunity. So the details of this course which is given in the description box, and if you want to watch the demo videos, you can visit our website rathodscienceacademy.com. There you can visit 3 demo videos in each and every module without paying a single penny. So after watching only you can go for payment of these courses. And if you have any doubt, so please contact us on the number which is given on the screen. And if you want to get the PDF of this today's lecture, so you can join the Telegram channel, link is given in description box. And now let us try to see the today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu. Date is June 13th and this is Delhi edition. So first article, it is regarding Adani power project sparks row in Sri Lanka. So what happened, this Adani power project in Sri Lanka is again at the center of a controversy. Now again this Adani power project in Sri Lanka, it is mainly the controversy here, because the top officials of the Ceylon Electricity Board, they told parliamentary panel that renewable energy project in this islands of this northern on this northern Mannar districts was given to this Adani group for after Prime Minister Narendra Modi persuaded. Okay, so this is the one important thing. And next one is, in the modern times, what is keep on eye on workers. So this topic I discussed, and I discussed about this abnormal dinosaurs egg which mainly found in India. And next one here in the city page, you can see one article regarding this right to education. So provisions of this right to education act cannot be enforced on the private unaided schools. So this is a thing which mainly said by here Delhi High Court. So because of this here, this is very important. So here you have to know some facts regarding what is this right to education. So right to education act which mainly enacted in year 2009. So it mainly focusing on providing of free and compulsory education to all for the children who are mainly between the age of 6 to 14 years. Okay, so this is one important thing that you have to remember. And this right to education act which also guarantees right to education. Okay, however, it nowhere provides that. It said that right can be unconditionally enforced against a private unaided school. So this is the thing which mainly said by here Delhi High Court. So this is one of the important news that I can say regarding education, and this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity. And if you move forward here, you can say deadly heat stifles Delhi mercury above 44 degrees. So it is talking about heat wave. So regarding this topic, we have number of times discussion regarding this heat wave. And if you move on to this page number 3 here, page number 3, that is states page, here you can see study reveals child artists, they work more than 12 hours a day. So here you need to know about Child Labor Act. So recently one study which is mainly done by one NGO name is Child Rights. NGO name is Child Rights and You, which mainly said that so the children who are below the age of 15 in this entertainment industry in India, they work more than 12 hours a day. So because of this, it is mainly violating one act, that is the Child Adolescent Labor Prohibition Regulation Act. Okay, it mainly prohibits engagement of children in all occupations. So here it will focus about this act CALPRA, CALPRA, that mainly talks about here the Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition Regulation Act. So this topic is also very important. And here in this page number 4, in the states page, you can see groundwater contaminations happen. So groundwater contamination which mainly happened with this fluoride iron coliform in Odisha. So here you have to know about what are the important causes of this groundwater contamination and what will be the impacts of this groundwater contamination on the human health, animal health and environment. So in these dimensions you have to think about. And if you move forward in this editorial page, I didn't found actually most of these articles are political articles. And in this op-ed page, I discussed about this Afghanistan women rights. I discussed about this data point regarding this environment performance index. In this text and context, I discussed about this OIC article. In this article, I discussed about this FATF and Pakistan's grey list. And here I want to give you one homework regarding this crypto quantum. Okay, so if time permits, I will be discussing in the future. Okay, so don't worry about that. As of now, you have to refer that article once. And this 10th page number 10th, I found this article is important, that is regarding India in talks for more Apache and Chinook chapters. So these are having more advantage than compared to that of this Rafale M. And next topic, it is regarding ministry seeks feedback on disability policy. So recently here Social Justice and Empowerment Ministry, which mainly invited public for the feedback regarding persons with disabilities. Okay, it mainly came up with the national draft policy on persons with disabilities. Okay, so here actually it is mainly focusing that here this people with disabilities, they are having number of issues like malnourishment, medical negligence, socio-cultural factors and impairment caused by the disasters. So because of this, already we know that we have Right to Persons with Disabilities Act of 2016. Okay, you have to refer this act once. Okay, and this policy which mainly states that both states and union territories, they should add provisions on this compliance with this RPD Act, and they want to grant permission for the recognition to the education institutions, etc. Okay, so this is about this topic, and you have to know about this People with Disabilities Act of 2016 for sure. And if you move forward, here in this page number 12, you can see article regarding type 1 diabetes mellitus. I discussed this topic, and there is one more article regarding this Pondicherry Varsity in QS global rankings. Okay, so I discussed about this global rankings, and this article which is mainly focusing on only Pondicherry. So if you are from Pondicherry, so this topic might be important from your interview point of view. And next one is agencies issues alert on smuggling of essential to Sri Lanka. So especially Sri Lanka, which is mainly facing economic crisis. So now intelligence agencies, they have issued an alert on security forces in Tamil Nadu, and they are saying that there is a possibility of smuggling of essentials to Sri Lanka through this Sri route. Okay, and if you move forward in this world page, you can see WTO chief sees bumpy road as Minister Chako deals. It is mainly talking about fertilizer shortage, etc. So these are some important articles that appear in this today's Hindu newspaper. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So please subscribe to Rathod Science Academy, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos, and don't forget to enroll to the courses that we are offering in our Rathod Science Academy. So if you have any queries, so please contact me on this number 8074765513. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much.